Finally, Mirage Fafnir has come back to Project 4 Quezon City. What's happening, guys? After 3 weeks of waiting, let me present to you Mirage Fafnir Nothing 2S. Without further ado, here's the review. Mirage is the third three-sided ring for Beyblade Burst Sparking. The previous two being Glide from Ragnarok and Brave from Valkyrie respectively. It shares a trait with the latter of having its perimeter lined with rubber. However, unlike Brave, which only has rubber lining on its 3 main contact points and 3 supplementary contact points that are less likely to be hit, Mirage has its perimeter fully lined with rubber. Glide, on the other hand, is like a right spin Mirage without any trace of rubber lining. As you've seen, Mirage is the lightest amongst the three and even lighter than Glide. I guess the stamina wings of Glide is a bit heavier than the rubber of Mirage. As shown in the previous episodes, Glide exposes less of a chassis' teeth. Here's Glide compared to Curse. Here's Glide compared to Mirage. Here's Mirage compared to Curse. Even if Mirage is classified as a stamina type like Glide, thankfully, it didn't get the same treatment. So, for now, only Glide has this disadvantage. Being fully covered in rubber, will this translate to better spin equalizing prowess? To really test its grip, it will be pitted against a top-tier anti-spin equalizing layer in Perfect Phoenix. The round and smooth edges of its dead armor lessen the effectivity of its opponent to spin equalize in opposite spin. As you can see from these two matches, Perfect Phoenix is a perfect counter for Master and TAC layer bases. For this LAD test, it will be Mirage Fafnir Wheel Extend Plus 1S versus Perfect Phoenix Wheel Extend Plus. Note that using the outer disc on Perfect Phoenix will make it touch the stadium floor first instead of the layer, which means that it will be outer smooth underside that will determine its LAD. However, if using outer on Mirage Fafnir, both the Mirage ring and the 1S chassis will be awfully close to the floor. This makes it possible for either Mirage, 1S, or both to touch the floor at the same time with outer. As a result, its LAD will be worse as there will be now 3 possible points of contact instead of just 1. Furthermore, Mirage has rubber which will make it even worse for LAD. Anyhow, This just means that the results won't be apples to apples. To remedy the situation, wheel will be used for both combos so that it will be the one to touch the stadium floor first and provide an equal chance to both layers. In addition, this being an opposite spin layer test, the disc and driver will be held constant. Thus, both wheel and extend plus will be swapped between combos after round 5 to balance the variability of using the same type of parts. To view the full 10-round battles, please go to the topmost pinned comment in the comment section. This result validates Mirage's excellent ability to spin equalize even against Perfect Phoenix. Its triangular shape is good for catching onto its opponent's layer as well as its rubber, which improves its grip. As advertised, it's top tier when it comes to spin equalization. In same spin, its aggressive three-sided shape coupled with rubber will grip onto its opponent's layer, and then 3 things can happen. First, if its burst resistance is more than its opponent, it has a good chance to burst it. In this demo, we'll use Mirage Fafnir Extend Plus 2S in 3-blade mode versus Hell Salamander Vanguard bearing. Note that the use of a double chassis significantly increases Mirage Fafnir's burst resistance. Let's see how a non-aggressive layer shape without rubber, like the King Ring, compares. In this demo, we'll use King Helios Extend Plus 2S versus Hell Salamander Vanguard bearing. As a result, King Helios was only able to outspin Hell Salamander. Second, if its burst resistance is less than its opponent, it has a good chance to get burst by it. In this demo, we'll use Mirage Fafnir Vanguard bearing 1S versus Hell Salamander Outer Extend Plus. Outer, which is light in weight, was used to increase Hell Salamander's burst resistance. Even if Mirage Fafnir is much heavier, because it has lesser burst resistance primarily due to bearing's weak spring, it still got burst by an outclassed Hell Salamander combo. Third, because its shape and rubber is not ideal for same spin stamina. If it doesn't burst or itself get burst, it will most likely be outspun by its opponent. In this demo, we'll use Mirage Fafnir Extend Plus 2S in 3-blade mode versus Hell Salamander Vanguard bearing. Even if it significantly outweighs Hell Salamander, because it wasn't able to burst it, it still lost via a spin finish. As shown in the previous test, Mirage's best chance to win in same spin is to either burst or knock out its opponent. With that being said, we'll pit it against actual top tier same spin combos in full 10-round matches. For the first test, it will be based on the first scenario. We'll use Mirage Fafnir Extend plus 2S in 3-blade mode versus Master Bahamut Wheel Extend plus. Mirage Fafnir, at least on paper, has significantly more burst resistance than Master Bahamut. The main reason is that it's using a double chassis in 2S. For the sake of simplicity, due to the way the Beyblade burst mechanism works, the heavier the layer, the harder it is to burst. In this case, the quote-unquote layer is Mirage Fafnir 2S, which is significantly more heavier than Extend Plus. Furthermore, to increase its chances to burst or knock out its opponent, Absorb mode or 3-blade mode will be used. This is because the synergy between its ring and chassis will allow it to dish harder hits. As far as Master is concerned, it's using the Bahamut chip, which has 7 medium-height teeth, is using wheel, which has extreme outward weight distribution, and is not using a dash driver. Therefore, its burst resistance should be much lower. This result proves that, against a top-tier defense stamina layer in Master, Mirage would really need a knockout or a burst finish. Otherwise, its shape works against it versus a non-aggressive and with no rubber layer like Master. Note that Master Bahamut will extend plus pretty good burst resistance against this Mirage Fafnir combo was a surprise though. For the second test, it will be based on the second scenario. We'll use Mirage Fafnir Wheel Extend Plus 1S versus Lord Spriggan Wheel Extend Plus. In this match, Lord Spriggan has more burst resistance due to Spriggan's excellent teeth. Based on the result, Lord Spriggan was able to burst Mirage Fafnir one time, which validates the second scenario. Lord Spriggan, although it was outweighed by Mirage Fafnir, narrowly won due to two reasons. Its rubber didn't cover the entirety of its layer, and its shape is slightly less aggressive than Mirage Fafnir. Note that Mirage Fafnir had an average of 2 clicks after each match. For the third test, the Master layer will be reused but with the Spriggan chip this time. Also, the disc and driver will be hybrid instead of Wheel Extend Plus. We'll use Mirage Fafnir Hybrid 1S versus Master Spriggan Hybrid. Due to the taller height of Hybrid, there were times, most notably from the middle to the end part of the rounds, wherein Mirage Fafnir was hitting Hybrid. Using Hybrid on both combos increased the odds for Mirage Fafnir to win, which is reflected by the close score. For the fourth test, we'll use Mirage Fafnir Wheel Extend Plus 1S versus Master Spriggan Wheel Extend Plus. Here, Master Spriggan took the center most of the time. In round 6, wherein Mirage Fafnir took the center, Master Spriggan kept undercutting it, which then destabilized it and was able to win via a spin finish. The same scenario happened in round 7, wherein for a brief moment, Master Spriggan wasn't able to undercut it and was just circling around it. This allowed Mirage Fafnir to obtain its only win. In this match, due to the lower height of Extend Plus compared to Hybrid, there was more layer-to-layer contact, which makes it a more accurate comparison between Mirage and Master, and the score clearly reflects this as well. Will Mirage's full rubber coverage help lessen the blows of an attack type? A top-tier judgment combo, even if it is in opposite spin, will be used instead of Zwei because Zwei is more of an upper attacker than a smash or burst attacker. For this test, we'll use Mirage Fafnir Extend Plus 2S in 3-blade mode versus Judgment Diabolo Sting Extreme Dash, which by the way is a member of the Papa Bay Certified 5G deck. We'll then compare its performance with Master Spriggan Wheel Extend Plus, Lord Spriggan Wheel Extend Plus, and Brave Hyperion Extend Plus 2S in 3-blade mode. Note that for these battles, a bank launch was used so that Judgment Diabolos would have a good chance of hitting the flower pattern movement, and that its opponent would also be tilted and avoid direct hits on its layer. Based on these results, Mirage Fafnir is a slight favorite to survive and out-LAD Judgment Diabolos. It has the same odds with Master Spriggan and just a notch below both Lord Spriggan and Brave Hyperion. It is the second released left spin chip, with Helios being the first. It has no advertised gimmick like Valkyrie, so its physical attributes is the same as the rest. Its weight is slightly lighter than Helios, which makes Helios the current top-tier left spin chip. As of this time, 2S and 1B are the only double chassis that are dual spin, meaning it can be used for either left or right spin. 1A and 2A are both only right spin. Although 2A and 2S are both three-sided, their similarities end here. These are their differences. 2S doesn't have rubber while 2A does. 2A is slightly lighter than 2S. 2S is slightly thinner than 2A, which gives it a bit more higher center of gravity. 2S has more metal near its edges compared to 2A, which gives it more outward weight distribution. Note that like Glide and Brave, 2A and 2S can be used in 3-blade mode or 6-blade mode. For 2S, 3-blade mode is called Absorb mode and 6-blade mode is called Counter mode. For this test, we'll use Mirage Fafnir Extend Plus 2S in 3-blade mode versus Brave Hyperion Extend Plus 2A in 3-blade mode, wherein the latter is also part of Papa Bay's Certified 5G deck. This is because 2A paired with Extend Plus gives it top-tier LAD. Brave was used instead of Glide because of its rubber. So, this match basically comes down between 2S versus 2A. Based on these results, 2S won 2 out of the 4 matches, with 1 match ending in a draw, which makes it the overall winner. Against 2A, using 2S in 3-blade mode can either be a slight underdog or an overwhelming favorite. On the other hand, using 2S in 6-blade mode can either be a pick'em or a narrow favorite, which in all likelihood will be a 50-50 situation either way. In my opinion, the large chance to win outweighs the small disadvantage rather than settling for a pick'em. This test is pretty straightforward as both combos are identical save for the chassis. Again, after round 5, the Brave Ring and Extend Plus driver will be swapped between combos. Based on these results, 2S won 2 out of the 4 matches, with 1 match ending in a draw, which makes it the overall winner. Against 2A, using 2S in 3-blade mode can either be a sizable favorite or a pick'em. On the other hand, using 2S in 6-blade mode can either be a sizable favorite or a sizable underdog. Therefore, the choice is easy here. So that's a wrap, guys. I'll be seeing you again in the next episode. Same Papa Bay time, same Papa Bay channel.